Live. Yes. Yeah. So good evening, everyone. So today we are having the first session for current edge, or we are having. Let's start with what is the overall plan for these classes. So it's only, what is the date today? Date 28th of October. So still we have plenty of time for prelims. Why we are starting too much early with current affairs? Give me some reason. Why you attend this class too early for current affairs? Uncertainty in prelims. Okay, yeah, that can be very good reasons. How current is linked with static in the paper, that is also a motivating factor. So there are few reasons we have in mind why early course may be beneficial for you. If you see how you should plan your overall preparation. This is mostly time for optionals, mostly time for making substantial improvement in the mains. And there is no challenge to that notion. Only thing is you allot a minimum amount of time for the prelims preparation. Anyway, down the line, 2 months later, you have to completely focus on prelims. And we have seen many students who struggle to make this transition to prelims. They spend all the January in just this getting the transition or completing some pending portion for mains. And once they make the fully prelims mode mein aa jayega, it will be mid of February. Then there will be lack of time for revision, lack of time for internalizing whatever content you have. Secondly, if you are not completely internalized, like especially for current affairs, many students we see in this attitude. What is the methodology for current affairs? Only thing is at the last you take some compilation, you go through this compilation and give the paper. What is the issue with this method? Only thing is your focus is all on content, knowledge. You're not focusing on application of the knowledge. You're not focusing on interlinkaged questions. And last, is video live? If anyone is watching live, give me a response. Yeah. So what we were speaking? It's going on, right? Some message was showing. All good. Yeah, interlinkages. We have made a orientation session video on this also. If you even look at the 2023 paper, almost 50% of the paper somehow have some connection with current developments. And many a times students even fail to understand this. Even in today's paper, what is the first question? What is stupas? Now in this question we have given a statement. Recently this archaeological survey of India have excavated some stupas in some part of the world, India, and a question is made on what is stupas. In prelims mostly this above statement will not be there in the question paper. You will get a question directly on what is stupas. And what student think is, this is a complete static question. And if you keep this attitude and if you start collecting all the facts in the statics, there is no end to this. Start collecting facts from geography, then you will learn 5 years, still there will be content pending, still there will be recollection issues. So our focus is for this factual part of the paper, try to have a direction through current affairs. Whatever is happening in the news, if a factual question come on these topics, then you should be able to get it. If totally random question is coming, then we cannot do much about it. Pulsar question like celestial bodies, that kind of question. Should have been done, that questions. So our objective is on 1-2 direction mein. Even if you take 1 week, you will have 2 hour classes, half hour test. Then a 2 hour I want you to spend on these workbooks. maximum 2 hours. You can add, we will see how you should use this. You got a fair idea? Like even in this workbooks, what is this? First question you take. No, don't question. That explanation in the workbook about what is stupas. See, take the first page. The idea is you have content on left side of the page. After that, right side is completely left. Now, even you attend the classes, I want all of you to have this workbook in hand. And whatever we are discussing in the class, do not take it on some other notebook. Add whatever value addition you have to do here only. Most of the topics will be content, factual content will be given in the workbook itself. If some more analysis we are doing in the class, if some more analysis, some word is there in this which you are not able to recollect, or if some word is there which you think can come for the prelims as a static question, then you add details of this in the right hand side of this workbook. So if you continue this exercise for next 2 months or 2.5 months, by the time you completely shift into prelims preparation, you will have a consolidated note for current affairs. That is our complete objective of this workbooks. And objective is why we call this active learning. Because at the end of the day, I want to remove this completely mugging up approach. For every topic, at least spend 2 minutes on it. When you read about what is stupas, at least spend 2 minutes on it. So what exactly more can be asked? What exactly, these are not complete notes. Never take this as comprehensive notes. Whatever given, this is not the end of the world. Take 2 minutes on every topic, think over it. So, and add whatever, Google search karo. Add whatever relevant more details is missing in this into this document. From class, from your own search, from discussion, from if newspaper, some recent development happened. We have some semi-cryogenic technology questions in this later on. So if a question comes on, if more development is happening on this regard, a 3D printing question, same question, 3D printing. So if new development is happening on 3D printing, so add this into these notebooks. At the end of the time, you will have a consolidated personalized notebook. Similar to what we have done for ethics also, you will have this kind of a notes for current affairs. Then what more? Every Saturday we will be having classes and you will be having test also. Either you can come half-hour later and attend the test, or even if you can want to do it live in the class, you can do like that also. No issues with that. Both of these approach you can do. So if you are taking notes online, open this PDF and try to add whatever new information we have added. So this is detailed schedule of this. So in 2 levels, we are like looking forward to do the current affairs. In first level, what is it? If we are doing it month wise, like today's class is Jan-Feb 2023 topics we will be mostly taking. So after first 4 months, every one class for 1 month basic current affairs will be, and we are starting with 25 topics only. Later on by December and all, we can increase the number of topics when the preparation should get more weightage to prelims questions. So if you follow this format, by 13th of January, we will be completing all 2023 current affairs. Then we will be starting the topic wise weekly discussions. Like in 1 week, we will be having 2 or 3 classes. In these 2-3 classes, all the science and tech related developments, then next week government schemes, like subject wise we will cover from January onwards. So these are in 2 levels, we are like planned this course initiative. Clear in sources, many sources will be covered, like majorly to newspapers, Indian Express and The Hindu. Then for government schemes and government initiatives, Yojana and PIB compilation will be there. Then for specific related to science and tech, Science Reporter, and for environment topics, these down to earth magazines. These 4 magazines are major sources for this. Okay, hope things are clear. Let's go to today's first question. So go through the question and tell me what is the answer. Even if you don't know too much of information, still try to answer the question. Yeah, what is the answer? Let's read the question once. Recently, Archaeological Survey of India discovered 1200-year-old miniature votive stupas during landscaping activities near Saraitila Mount on the premise of Nalanda Mahavira, a World Heritage Site in Nalanda district. In which state it is? Bihar. So this is a statement directly from the newspaper. Then what is the question? Consider the following statement regarding votive stupas. Questions are regarding votive stupas. Stupas of non-Buddhist origin are often referred to as votive stupas. Is it right or wrong? Why? Stupas everywhere? Only Buddhist. Okay, let's see. Typically, they do not contain relics and are not associated with significant events from Buddha's life. Is this correct? Maybe. Votive stupas were often built by individuals or communities as a devotional act. Possible. So what is your answer? How many of the statements given above are correct? What is your answer? Only 2. Which 2? Second and third. Okay. So let's see the question. Let's see whatever is given in the statement. Whatever you can infer from the statement. Votive, what is the meaning of votive? Something devotional, something as a vow. You take a vow and you, out of devotion, you are doing something. We have a statement, these stupas were built by individuals or communities as devotional act. Very similar to the meaning of votive. So these two can be very much similar. And if devotion is coming, then these questions, stupas origin, when stupas are origin? Is stupas originated with Buddhism or before Buddhism there were stupas? If you look at the origins in NCERT, even it is given that even during Vedic period there were stupas. Stupas word itself is coming from Vedic languages. So stupas origin is predates Buddhism. This statement can be highly correct. Second statement, typically they do not contain relics and not associated with Buddha's life. Which kind of stupas are associated with Buddha's life? Famously we remember which stupa? Sanchi stupa, Amravati stupa. And what is speciality of one thing about these stupas? They are immensely large. And here we are talking about stupas. Even in the statement it is given that miniature, where it is? To 1200-year-old miniature votive stupas. It is miniature, it is devotional. So it can be not related to Buddha's life. Second statement can be high possibility, it is right. Stupas of non-Buddhist origin are often referred to as votive stupas. There can be stupas before Buddhism also. But if that is the case, then there may not be the devotional element related to it. There may not be Buddhist element related to it. So high chance first statement can be right. Because it is also 1200-year-old, it's not 3000-year-old, it is not predating Buddhism. These votive stupas are also coming after Buddhism. And if stupas, almost all stupas coming after Buddhism has some or other impact or influences of Buddhism. Even in Ajanta Ellora, you can see an stupa architecture evolved into Ajanta and Ellora caves. Even though other religions, Hinduism, Vaishnavism, all these are part of it, but still there are elements of Buddhism still present in this. So many of these options suggest second first statement can be wrong, while second and third statement should be right. Answer here is B. What more you can learn from this? First thing is votive stupas. What more you can learn from here? One concept of votive stupas, that is exactly asked in the question. Second, a concept of Nalanda Mahavira or Nalanda University. So let's learn about votive stupas first. What is the idea of votive stupa? Tell me. They are miniature stupas built by individuals or communities. What is the purpose? Personal devotion, as community service, all these can be different functions of this. Main difference come in the structure, design. In larger stupas, there is a formal design to the stupa. There will be a hound, there will be structures around this, there will be a pathway around the stupa. Design is more or less crystallized in larger stupas, whereas in votive stupas, since it is individual motivated, it can have very miniature versions, very personalized kind of designs. More flexibility is there in votive stupas. Large numbers of votive stupas you can find throughout the country, while the bigger stupas are just a few. Even Amaravati stupa is completely destroyed. Only Sanchi stupa, some part is still left. They have simpler design and they have seen as individual devotion, merit taking, same as what we have discussed. This is the whole idea of votive stupa. Going ahead, this is the whole history of stupas. So even first thing you have to know, whenever there is question on origin of stupa, stupas are not something that is in time with Buddhism. So origin of stupas predates Buddhism. From Vedic period, the idea of stupas, some preliminary designs of stupas are existing in the subcontinent. They were burial or markers for important events in some other person's life, not Buddha. Pre-6th century BC also these stupas evidences are available. Now early Buddhist stupa, who is the most propounder of this stupa building? Emperor Ashoka. What is his timeline? What is Buddha's timeline? Roughly around 5th century BC. Ashoka's timeline is around 3rd century BC. So he had said to have built around 20,000 stupas throughout different parts of the world. He is also known for taking Buddhism to different other parts of the subcontinent, like Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia, all these different parts of the world. So he started the process of keeping Buddhist relics in these stupas, associating stupas with some of the some of the events of Buddha's life, making a stupas regarding that. Then the design also get consolidated, then the structure also get elaborated during this time. Sanchi stupa, Barhut stupa are some of the examples of this. Then later stupas you can consider it as like development into rocket architecture. You can see from stupa or the ancient architecture recently during the Gupta period, it grew into rocket architecture. So there is some kind of influences or merging, or you can say flux happening between these two. Later you can see some of the Islamic architecture like Gol Gumpas, they have also seen some of the inspiration taken from stupa architecture. That is during the medieval times. So what next? Nalanda University. What all are the basic facts related to it? It is one of the earliest universities in the world itself. You can see when was the founding of this university? During which empire? At least this much you should be very much clear about. During which empire? Gupta period it was. Who was the ruler? Kumaragupta. Around 5th century CE, that was Gupta period, the university was founded. Now what was this? Mahayana Buddhism was the major school of thought, but it was not limited to that. All other subjects like mathematics, astronomy, medicine, politics, all these were subject of study in the university. Different scholars like Nagarjuna, Aryadeva, Vasubantu, Asanga, all these were some scholars related to this. Now what I want to do is study about these 4 scholars. What were their contributions? What were have they written any books? Which field they were associated with? Do an exercise on this. Now the university is said to have a library that contains huge amount of literature collection. The library is called Dharmaganj, Mountain of Truth. Now what happened to this library? Bhaktiar Khilji in the 12th century 12th century CE, he had destroyed the university and burned the library. And it is said that for almost a huge, long period of time, it keeps burning. So this is all about Nalanda University. Recently in 2010, the university has been revived. And in the nearby location, we have started another modern university in the name of Nalanda University. So this development happened in the 2010. And it is a part of UNESCO World Heritage Site. Again, as another exercise you should do. What is UNESCO World Heritage Site? Since it is first class, since we are just starting with this exercise, you will get many of the terms like this. Once you will get used to it, then it becomes quite easy. So you can do a research on this, go Google search. When you are doing Google search, ensure one thing. Don't, at least for time being, don't look into any of the institute websites. If you search UNESCO World Heritage Sites, you will get so many civil service institute websites. Better for the time being, avoid it. Try to get actual information from UNESCO websites. Try to go to the About Us page of this UNESCO website and add whatever relevant information you find into your notebook. Okay, once you get used to these 4 or 5 workbooks, you've done this, then we will easily don't need to do the basics like UNESCO or WHO or World Bank. This kind of About Us page we may not have to go. But for the time being, at least when we are starting, go to the original website, go to the About Us page and get any information about it. Now Nalanda University, one famous thing is it has been visited not just by internal scholars from different parts of the country. What this is pronounced? Xuanzang. He visited Nalanda University in 7th century CE. Who was ruler in 7th century CE? Gupta period ended and Harsha period have started. Harshvardhana was the ruler. Now these are the famous 2 visitors into ancient Indian Chinese visitors into India. Xuanzang and Fahian or Fasian. Now he visited during the time of Harsha, that is 7th century. He visited during the time of around 4th to 5th century. That is Gupta period it was. Why they were visiting India? Learning about Indian culture. Beyond that, to learn about Buddhism, to get access to original texts of Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism, to access to original text and translate into their own language. That was the primary objective of both these travelers. Then he has traveled across, you can get so many information across different parts of India. Emperor, you should always remember it was Harsha during that period. Okay, rest of the details you can go through the work. Going ahead. So what all exercise you have got from this first topic? What is stupas? What it is? Basic information on Nalanda University. Basic information of 2 ancient Chinese travelers. Now rest of the things like some scholars in Nalanda University, UNESCO World Heritage Sites. I want you to read that workbook with all curiosity. Keep your minds open, whatever term you find it, Google search it, add information to it. Read it with an open mind, with an interactive perspective. Then only it makes sense. Going ahead, let's go through the second question. Do answer the question, then we will start the discussion. What is the answer? All 4. So let's read the question once. Consider the following statement. First information report, FIR, is a formal document of accusation prepared by law enforcement agency after completion of the investigation of a crime. Charge sheet is the initial report that is made to the police in India to initiate an investigation into criminal matter. Both FIR and charge sheet are considered as public document in dealing with legal affairs. Both FIR and charge sheet are to be uploaded within 24 hours except in sensitive cases. Which of the following statements are incorrect? Very important to take note of this. It is incorrect that is being asked. What is the answer? All four are incorrect statement. How it becomes incorrect? Why this question has came into our discussion? What is the recent development regarding this charge sheet or FIR or something like this? In 2016, there was a Supreme Court judgment. It may be given in your workbook. What is it about? Youth Bar Association case. It was in this case, Supreme Court came up with the directive that after FIR should be uploaded to the website within 24 hours. This is applicable only to FIR. Now in 2023, Supreme Court again came up with another directive related to charge sheet. What was that? Supreme Court told that charge sheet is not a public document. So it need not be openly uploaded into the website. Charge sheet is not a public document that has been reported by the Supreme Court. So why Supreme Court take this decision? Why it is that FIR should be uploaded within 24 hours? Why charge sheet should not be uploaded? What was the major reason for this? Charge sheet can have privacy data, sensitive data. It has data, personal related data of the accused peoples. It has data about the investigation agency itself. It has lot of sensitive data. So since it contains this sensitive data, it will be only given to authorized person who are associated with that case. It cannot be uploaded openly in the website. So that was the rationale of the Supreme Court. So since this judgment came in the recent past, that's why we are having an interest or we are taking into consideration this question. Now first two statement, if you look, that is being interchanged. The first definition, that is formal document of accusation that is submitted by the law enforcement agency after completion the case, that is charge sheet. If a crime happened, then what exactly happened at this date, at this time, at this thing happened. That report is called first investigation report. And this is not, so this is a definition of FIR made to the police in India to initiate investigation into criminal matters. So these two definitions are interchanged. Now FIR and both considered public document. Exactly, this was a Supreme Court judgment. Charge sheet cannot be considered a public document. So this statement again wrong. Both these to be uploaded within 24 hours. Both need not be uploaded, only FIR need to be uploaded. Charge sheet may not be uploaded. So all these statements are incorrect. Answer here is D. So these are a comparison table, you can get it in your workbook also, between FIR and charge sheet. Major things you should consider is FIR is at the initial stage. When a criminal offense has happened, the report that is to be made at the stage of initiation of the investigation, that is FIR. It is done by police authorities. Both these has reference to criminal code of procedure. Section you not need to remember, at least this must remember. The legal authority or legal basis for both this FIR and charge sheet is criminal code of procedure, and it provides all the details in what format you should do this, in what form you should submit these, all these kind of things. So this is done by police station, police in charge of the nearest police station. Then it contains when, what happened, all these kind of things. While accusation, that is a detailed report. It contains everything. It contains who are the accused, what is the motive, what is the forensic reports, what is the evidences. Everything in complete detail will be in the charge sheet. So this will be submitted after completing the investigation at the last stage of investigation, you can say. So these are the basic differences between FIR and charge sheet. So this is an example of an FIR, and there has been later another judgment related to charge sheet. What is it? Garima Chaudhary. So this is the first class. Yeah, this is the first class. We are starting out today itself, 28 October. So this is an example of charge sheet. What all it contains? Whatever we have discussed so far, like date and when the case was reported, brief description of what was the offense, name and address of the criminal, all this kind of activity, all this kind of related things will be exact specific things we are not required to learn, but these are the general information that will be available in FIR. Now in this, what is this? In charge sheet, investigating agencies not obliged to submit translation of charge sheet in language of the court. What is language of the court? Again, a topic you should investigate. What is language of the court? Which language? English is the language of the court. In state high courts, you can have other languages also. So what the Supreme Court is saying, investigation agencies, it is not responsibility of investigation agency to translate all the charge sheet into language of the court and submit it like that. It can submit in whatever XYZ language that deem in that case. So this can also be made a statement in examination. This has happened after around 28th April 2013. So going ahead, try to do the third question. Okay, sir, thanks. Yeah, Garima, do the third question. Okay, let's read the question once. It's about decennial census. So why we are discussing this question first? Why decennial census is of interest? It was supposed to happen in 2021. Now we are sitting in 2023, is going to end, and there is no possibility of it happening this year also. It is again being postponed to 2024. 2024 we have general elections, so maybe it will again get postponed. So let's see when it will happen. So the decennial census 2021 has been pushed forward yet again and is unlikely to start till September 2023, is outdated at least. In this context, consider the following statements. Decennial census in India is a statutory exercise carried under Census Act of 1948. Do we have such an act? At least if you get this kind of question, don't get confused whether they have given the year wrong. In most of the question, you look at the PYQs, these minute details are never changed. Only change happen in the core idea of this. So focus on this. If there is an act, census act, you at least remember this much, you can take this as right statement. Second, census is listed in the concurrent list in the 7th schedule of Indian Constitution. What is your take on it? Very factual kind of question. Who conducts census? It is under Ministry of Home Affairs, Office of Registrar, Ministry of Home Affairs. So all these works are done by the center. What is the role of state? Supply data, do the ground level research, all these activities. There is some role for the state, but is this statement right or wrong? Then under which schedule it is being listed? Or it is not being listed in any of the schedule? Census is coming under union list of the 7th schedule of the Constitution. So this concurrent state list is wrong statement. First statement is correct. So what will be answer here? A, one only. More details, you can get so much of details here. Why we are discussing this? Because the census has been continuously delayed. Who does the census? Office of Registrar General and Census Commissioner under the Ministry of Home Affairs, not Ministry of Statistics or not Ministry of any other ministry. It is just a statutory exercise under Census Act of 1948. Under Article 246, or you can say 7th schedule, it comes under Union list. Entry number 69 and all it is given. That is not too much of interest for us. So usually it happens every 10 years. From when was the first time census happened? It was started by Lord Mayo in 1872. After that, from 1881, we have the first simultaneous census. From 1881, it has been continuously done after every 10 years. Now, one interesting thing you need to keep in mind is, in countries like US, Japan, they also have legal mandate. They also have some kind of census act like that. But it is mandated that government should conduct this after every 10 years or whatever is their frequency. In our case, it is not mandated that it should happen every 10 years. It is prerogative of government or the executive branch or the executive authority that is responsible for conducting the census. That's why you cannot go to Supreme Court asking this legal procedure is not being followed. You can still go to Supreme Court asking that some other aspect related to it. But you cannot go to Supreme Court and say that the legal aspect related to Census Act is not being followed. Anything else that is interesting? Dates and all are not being at all important for us. It's being again continuously being pushed further. Okay. So what next? These are a list of different kinds of census available to us. So decennial census we have seen so much. So what it collects is demographic data of people residing in India. Now since it is a statutory exercise, what is the benefit of having a statutory law on census? It will have its body, that's right. Beyond that, there will be some clarity which data is being collected, how this data is being processed. At least those data which is violating privacy of the people will not be collected in this, or it will be processed in a pre-mandated way. You cannot change it. So age, population structure, literacy rate, sex ratio, employment status, all this will be collected under the decennial status. Long list of stuff is given. It is conducted every 10 years usually. All these other elements we have discussed. Another important survey is National Population Register, NPR. We have so much of issues or controversy related to not NPR. NPR is first stage of controversy. More in controversy came regarding National Registry of NRC, National Registry of Citizens. At one point, government even tried to do NRC along with the decennial census. Some kind of process was started and then it was retracted back, considering a huge amount of exercise if both being conducted. Now, what is the objective of NRC? In these only residence demographic data is being collected. Those data is not collected whether he is a citizen or foreigner. So NRC is based on you are looking at the citizenship of the person, and if he is a citizen, a citizenship card will also be given. That was the overall idea. And even in some other countries, there is a procedure of giving citizenship card for this. Mostly it is issued in Assam. Assam, what is the issue? We have Assam, what is the issue is waves of migration has happened from Bangladesh during issues when after post-independence, when the issues with West Pakistan was going on in Bangladesh, there was waves of migration that is happening. Now to control this is a major reason why India even interfered in this Bangladesh liberation war in 1971 during Indira Gandhi times. Now when this whole mess was happening, these all immigrants were coming and settling in the Assam. Now Assam was very worried about this. What was Assam's worries? Resource pressure, demographic imbalance that is being created. tribal community is losing their significance. So all these were creating tensions in the Assam. Then some kind of movement, student movement started in from the Assam against these immigrants to have a settlement with them. What was the consequence of this? We have Assam Accord in Assam Accord 1985. Now what Assam Accord is saying? There were some timelines till 1966. If you came before 1966, then your full citizenship will be awarded after 10 years. If you came after this date, 1971 March 24, something like that was the cutoff. If you enter the country after that, then you will be deported back. Now this beautiful accord with all these provisions has been made. Now if you want to implement this, you need data. If you need data, you have to go to see every person when you have came. Give me some data you were existing before 1971. If no data, you are a foreigner, you have to be deported. To implement this Assam Accord, we need to do this NRC in Assam. Now when NRC in Assam was done, it was such a messy exercise that one, it was taking huge amount of capital or huge amount of funding. Beyond funding, the exercise become tedious because what was the other reasons? People were not having enough documents. Even person who have served in different wars, even family of the ex-president of India, they were also not getting citizenship. Around 1.9 lakh people, 1.9 million people were left out of this NRC document. Now the problem is we don't have any agreement with Bangladesh. Bangladesh is, we so far don't have any agreement with Bangladesh. So even if you identify what we will do with these people, even if we take out their citizenship, what we will do. And this exercise was completed in 2019. Now you see the timeline. Something issue happened in 1971. Now we reached an agreement in 1985. Now its implementation, next step happened in 2019. Now for somebody who has done, he may be died, his grandson may be living in 2019. Now what is the logic of deporting grandson back to Bangladesh? At least that person have lived completely in India. So there is so much of legal, ethical, you can see so much of other controversies associated with this NRC. So what is NPR? NPR is not exactly NRC. It is not looking at your citizenship. It is collecting usual residents of India, all the data related to usual residents of India. It is also done by Office of Registrar General under Ministry of Home Affairs. There will be more details connected. Last it collected in 2011 census. As a part of 2011 census, we have collected the data for NPR also. Now it has been updated in 2015. Beyond that, it was not being updated, then it has been kept on hold. Another interesting survey is socioeconomic caste census. So much debates you see here today on caste census. Caste census should be done, caste census should not be done. Why so much of debates? What is the reason? How is this reservation structure working? We today have how much for SC STs? 7.5, 7.5. 7.5% for SC community, 7.5% for ST communities, 27% for OBCs. The rest is general. Now for SC STs we have data. We have certain XYZ caste data be available for SC and STs. For OBC, how we reach this 27% number? Mandal Commission recommendation, it was being implemented. But what was the data used to reach some number like 27%? 1931, there was some caste census done. That was only caste census data available in India. That was the basis for this 27%. Now 1931 and see it is 2023. Almost 100 years have passed. Now you are using 100 years old data to get numerical of your reservation system today. So something is wrong. Something is imbalanced. Secondly, even we have so much of reservation policies. Even we recently come in with economic reservation policy, economic weaker section policy. Despite having these kind of policies, we are not reviewing these policies. At some level, you should review it, whether people are getting the benefits. There is so much debates on creamy layer. Creamy layer should be excluded, not excluded. It should be expanded to SC/ST. Supreme Court had given a number of directions to the state that extend the creamy layer to SC/STs, and state is still reluctant to implement that. Why state is reluctant to implement that? One thing is electoral pressure, vote bank politics or electoral pressure. Secondly, the idea of even the reservations is being questioned. If it is all about economics or based on economic conditions, you can take away reservation benefits from some person. That is not considered as main objective or main reason for giving the reservation. There are other forms of discrimination still existing in the society, or other forms of incapacities that is existing in the society. So that is the reason for this, what we are speaking, but that is the reason for this reservation system. So these economics should not define even this Indira Sahni judgment. What is Indira Sahni judgment about? Even when this Mandal Commission was implemented, 10% reservation, similar to the EWS, economic reservation was provided to higher caste people. In Indira Sahni judgment, while it approved or mandated that 27% for OBCs is constitutionally valid, 10% for upper caste is unconstitutional. And what was the reason? Because economics solely cannot define the basis of reservation system. Now when we relook economic weaker section reservation on this light, you might think that we have gone miles ahead of it. In economics, even the Supreme Court judgment on economic weaker section judgment, what Supreme Court was saying, modern incapabilities are not limited to caste. So you cannot bring the whole reservation system solely based on caste. There can be other dimensions of incapabilities. There can be other dimensions that can be integrated into reservation system. So we have moved forward, much forward from the Indira Sahni judgment. Indira Sahni judgment is in 1993 or something like that. So this is the whole picture of what you can say, NRCs, NPR, basic information you can read from here. Socioeconomic caste census, that is similar to a caste census but at a very miniature level. This has been done in 2011. Why it was done? It was done similar to NRC. Why NRC was done? Because Supreme Court gives strict orders, do this. And they have been overseeing all this NRC. Similarly, they have given orders to do the socioeconomic caste census. It has been done by Ministry of Rural Development and Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation. Other details you can read from here. Another two interesting caste census is, one is economic census. Economic census is done by Central Statistical Office under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Frequency is every 5 years. One more census is below this, it is not visible. What is that census? Agriculture census. Which department does that? It will be given in the workbook. Ministry of Agriculture, Department of Agriculture is doing it. What is the frequency of agriculture census? Every 5 years it is being done. So these are some of the prominent census related questions, related information you can consolidate from here. Let's go ahead. Yeah, try to answer the fourth question. Then we will start the discussion. Economy related question, quite easy question it is. Yeah, let's read the question. So Which of the following are possible objectives or implications of follow-on public offering, FPO? Raise additional capital for the company without increasing debt. Price of existing shares and earnings per share may fall. What is the answer? C. So how you reach the answer? Give me your understanding. Raise additional capital like IPO or FPO. Both of these, what they are doing is raising capital from the public, listing the company in some exchange like NSE or BSE, then share will be issued to the public. Public can buy the share of the company, and this capital will be used to do the business, do capital investment, do XYZ exercises of the company. So both this IPO and FPO, what is the major difference between IPO and FPO? Initial public offering, that is a private company that is first time they are being listed in the exchange. That process we call it as IPO. Follow-up public offering means a company that is already having shares in this share market, that is issuing more shares into the public or in the exchange, that is FPO. Now we have one statement that is raising additional capital, that is 100% correct. Both this IPO and both this FPO, both these exercises are done to raise capital from the market without increasing debt. Is this correct or wrong? How? They have shares in return. They have, this is like an investment. This is not a debt. This is not a debt creating instrument. So absolutely this statement is correct. It is not increasing the debt of the company. It is only bringing more capital investment to the company. Second statement. What is that? What was second statement? Price of existing shares. What happened to price of existing shares? More investment is coming into the company. Earlier, if one share 100 rupees were earning as a dividend, now there may be more shareholders. There is 3 shareholders, it has to be distributed among all. But this is like a assumption. If more capital is coming to the company, it can also generate more revenue to the company. It can lead to more profit to the company. So this number can also go up. But in generally, you can say that profit or earnings per share will fall. Both these statements are correct. So these are too much of information regarding FPOs. Who regulates all these FPOs or processes related to FPO, IPO and everything? Everything is regulated by SEBI, not RBI. If some statement is citing RBI, consider it as wrong. Dilution of shareholder dilution will happen. Now, if a company is coming up with IPO, coming up with FPO, what does it indicate? It is going public, but it is showing the confidence in the company. If the company is not having confidence, like you can take the example of Byju's. At one time, Byju's was rising too much. They were trying to make the company public. They were trying to launch Byju's into a public company. But that project still doesn't have executed. It has been put in hold and it's still put in hold. Why it is being put on hold? Because there were so many other issues happening with Byju's. So if they come up with a IPO right now, there will be lack of interest in their shares and it will completely destroy the share price. And if share price is falling, it will again destroy the market capitalization value of the company. Again, investor trust will go out of the hand. Again, a vicious cycle of problems will creep up. So only those companies who have at least some level of market confidence, at least some level of business confidence, go into this IPO or FPO. Similarly, the risk of IPO is potential for overcapitalization. Access to institutional, that is an advantage of it, access to institutional investors. Let's go ahead. What is IPO? Only difference is when the companies have doing it for the first time. What is the difference when it is doing for the first time and follow-up offer? registering, okay, process has to be done for the first time. Beyond that, what is it? If you are already having shares in the market, there is some kind of price realization already happening with the shares of the company. That means the company already know what is the market level price of these shares. So it is going again to the market to issue more shares. There is some kind of, you can say, sustainability. Now, if a company is launching for the first time, what issue happens is, nobody is 100% certain what price this shares has to be issued. Now, what this process is called? Underwriting. That means they will consult some investment banking. Investment bankers will come into picture. They will do all the analysis, studies and all this. They will come up with what should be the share value, share price of this. Then at that price, the company try to sell the market. Then there will be some date fixed, people apply for it. If over application is got, then how it is being allotted? It is allotted on proportional basis. Even if you apply for 10 lots, you will only get 1 lot if there is over application for the app and for Paytm, then price fall like anything. Sometimes price go up also. That is why there is so much of market interest in IPOs. Anything more? Basic data information is there. You can read it out. Answer the 5th question. Then we will continue the discussion. If you are watching online, you can answer it in the chat box. What is the answer? No idea. Okay. So why we are discussing again? Why we are discussing? Because there has been recent updation run in 2023 January. What is so much interesting about this updation? First statement is wrong. Why first statement is wrong? E-waste, let's read the question. E-waste management rules 2023 have been enacted recently. Consider the statements regarding e-waste management rules 2023. It has been enacted under Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974. It is wrong. Under which act it is done? Environment Pollution Act. Which year? 1986. You forgot everything. Fir padho Shankar book. So first statement is absolutely wrong. Second statement, it added cadmium and lead into Schedule 2's exempted list. Now what is exempted list? Permissible. Now if you don't know exactly the information related to developments of these acts, you will mess it up. When we look at the cadmium and lead is a both severe pollutant. Cadmium also is a very severe pollutant. Carcinogen, all these stories you have now. Now, how can these two be exempted from e-waste management rules? That becomes a very peculiar question. But this is exactly what even this act or the rule change is brought forward to. The whole crux of this rule change was adding cadmium and lead into exempted list. So if you know it, you will put it correct. Otherwise, if you try to apply some kind of basic knowledge and try to guess it out, you will go absolutely wrong. So what is the answer here is box. Now why government is doing this? We are saying too much about pollution control, environmental protection, Amrit Kal, all these, but still why government is giving exemption to cadmium and lead? Two major industries government government want to promote. One is renewable energy, solar panels, semiconductor based, all these applications. One other thing is medical application, medical industry. These two industry, both these cadmium and lead is to be used. So if not some exemption is not given, then these industry struggles. To promote these two industries, we are coming up with these exemptions, and this was the whole purpose of e-waste management rules 2023. So the story you can read it from here. It is done by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change under the Environment Protection Act 1986. Solar panels, medical devices, these are the major applications of cadmium and lead. Now these are some of the major provisions regarding it. What is extended producer responsibility? If some product like a mobile phone is given to you by XYZ company, then after the life cycle of this mobile phone, company has responsibility to take back this. How it is being implemented? If mobile is for ₹1,000, the company give you for something like 1100. When you return the mobile after the life cycle, company will give back to you this 100 rupees. This is how you ensure that some level of recycle. There is interest in people for recycling the XYZ product. Now it is the responsibility of all these electronic companies to recycle their products after the life cycle. And there has been some targets also given. By this year, this much of % should be recycled, and it is to be increased likewise. Similarly, who oversees all this? State Pollution Control Board do all the overseeing purpose of the EPR and all other related to e-waste management rules. The rest all are very easy fact-based things. Go through the 6th question, then we continue the discussion. Again, a history question. We have already told, like even in 2023 paper, many of the history questions, they are not static questions. They are coming from some kind of current affairs relevance. You have to keep eyes open to hit that question. Let's read the question. Prime Minister Narendra Modi have made a reference to Anubhav Mantapa in his speech during inauguration of the new parliament building. He also mentioned Anubhav Mantapa is the foundation for parliamentary democracy. Which of the following statements, consider the following statement regarding Anubhav Mantapa. It was established by 12th century poet Lord Basaveshwara. Lord Basaveshwara, were you hear it? He is associated with Lingayat movement. Where Lingayats are? In which state they are prominent? Karnataka. Recently, there was a controversy regarding Lingayat. Not recently, in few years back. What was that? They has been given minority religion status by the state government. Later on, it has the actual power to give minority status lies with the center, and center hasn't permitted it. So they are not right now considered as minorities. But this controversy has happened regarding Lingayats, and they are also very active in the politics, so they come in the news very often. So it was established, Anubhav Mantapa was it established by Lord Basaveshwara? Correct? Very factual information, very much it is correct. Yogi Prabhudeva served as president of Anubhav Mantapa. All these are very factual statement. Again, a correct statement. It was democratic institution where all members are elected by villages. Is it correct? It is claimed as earliest form or foundations of parliamentary democracy. But still, it was in 12th century or in that times, all members elected by villages. That is very extreme statement during 12th century. There can be some members who are elected by the villagers, but there will be some nominated members by the king or whoever is the other religious authority and all of this. So all members being elected by the villagers, that is being a very extreme statement. So this is wrong. First two statements are correct. Answer here will be again box. So these are this is the 3D image reconstruction work is being proposed for Anubhav Mandapa. This is the 3D image related to Anubhav Mandapa. So these are related facts. It was established by Lord Basaveshwara in 12th century. Earliest forms of parliament in human history. Lingayat movement it is associated with. Vachana literature, that is the literature of Lord Basaveshwara is being called. Prabhudeva was the president of this Anubhav Mandapa. And not only this, democracy is being discussed, all other things, spirituality, all other aspects that is prominent during that time, that is being discussed in this Anubhav Mandapa. And people were mostly chosen or nominated by higher authorities of the Mandapa. They were not all elected. Again, all elected is a very extreme statement. You should have identified from this. Then you have Basava Purana, that is a 13th century text that depicts the life of Lord Basaveshwara. All these basic information you can study more on Lingayat if you want. Let's go to the seventh topic. Answer the question, then we'll start the discussion. What is the answer? Let's read the question once. What you are saying? Only two. B. The violin unit grafted organic framework, IVOFM, a novel material developed by a team of researchers at the Indian Institute of Science and Research, IISER, Pune. Violin unit grafted organic framework. So there will be some kind of mesh, something like a mesh will be there. It is an ionic organic framework designed with the purpose of tackling issue of Delhi air pollution. Now new technology is being developed. It is being developed by a research institute in Pune. How much possibility it is there for tackling air pollution? Or why you are saying in first statement is wrong? Ionic is usually referred to water, that's why you are avoiding it. How these catalytic air purifiers work? They are also working on similar technology, right? It is mostly related with filtration. Ionic is there and organic is also there. In catalytic air purifiers or catalytic, you can see this exhaust which you put on these vehicles. That is operating at very high voltage, very high electric voltages. And at these voltages, this organic framework may not sustain. It is made of palladium, all these costly elements. So high chance this is not related to air, this is mostly related to water. So this statement can be wrong. It operates through a combined mechanism of ion exchange driven by electrostatics and nanomaterial sized micropores. So idea is simple, there will be a mesh like this which is having nanopores and you pass water through it, the pollutants will be absorbed by this. Some kind of a sponge material, it is mostly related to water pollution control, it is being developed, not for Delhi air pollution. So these are all the basic information related to YFM technology. You can go through this in the workbook. Okay. Not going too much in detail of this. Answer the 8th question. Again, another history question. We are getting so much of history questions. What is the answer? Let's read the question once. 350-year-old Sri Saptakoshteshwar temple in Goa, once destroyed by Bahamanis and Portuguese, now renovated with government efforts. Consider the following statement regarding Sri Saptakoteshwar temple. Now it is already given it is a 350-year-old temple. Now it is saying that it is established during Gupta dynasty. Very high level of inconsistency. Now can Shivaji be associated with 350-year-old? What was the period of Shivaji? 1650s. Like Shivaji has fight with Aurangzeb. When did Aurangzeb died? Around 1707, around this time. Before that, around 50 years he has ruled, more than 50 years. So it is during 1650s to 1700. During this period, you can associate with Shivaji. So Shivaji is coming within the range, but Gupta period is not at all coming in the range. What was the time period of Gupta period? Around 5th century AD or 5th century CE. It is around 1500 years old. So it is not at all matching with the timeline or information even given in the question. The mandapa of the temple exhibits fusion of European architectural style. Even if you have seen this temple in the newspaper, at least you can remember how this looks. You can see it has some kind of European influences. Even though it is being built 350 years ago, it has European influences. Second statement is absolutely correct. Answer again B. So many questions we are getting B answers. So this is the temple. This is the temple design. You can see this is not a conventional temple design. This is something you can associate like a church. European influences are being seen. So it has been developed by which dynasty? Local ruler called Kadamba dynasty that was responsible for erecting this temple, and Shivaji has some kind of association with this temple. He has ordered the temple's reconstruction, and some kind of Shivlinga was erected in the temple on orders of Shivaji. Architectural style, it is having a some kind of mixture of European fusion of European architectural style. Going ahead, answer the 9th question. Very straightforward question. A or D? Very factual question. Which organization has released the Wildlife Conservation Bond, WCB, also known as Rhino Bond? What is the answer? Mostly the sustainable development bonds are being issued by World Bank. Also answer is World Bank itself. What is the purpose of all of this bond? Around 150 million bond is being issued. Idea is to save these rhinos in the South Africa, our African continent. That is the objective issued by the World Bank itself. Global Environment Facility is also part of this. Go and make a short note on Global Environment Facilities. Go through the About Us page. What is bond all about? What does bond means? What? What is difference between bond and loan? In both cases, suppose I want capital, I am taking money from you. In both cases, I am taking money from you. In bond also I am taking money from you, in loan also I am taking money from you. Now what is the difference between these two? In bond I am taking money as such, I will write on a paper, these are the XYZ bond details, you take this and give me your money. Now there will be some maturity date given, suppose after 1 year. After 1 year you come and give me this paper, I will give you 100 rupees. Now you are paying me only 90 rupees. That difference is your profit. Now how much less rupee you give me the bond, that depends on how much trustable person I am. If government is issuing the bond, then you have to give the bond at government securities, all these. There will be high trust within the organization. If trust is not there, then there will be less takers for the bond. Similarly, what happens with the loan? In loan, the whole game is with interest rate. You give me the same amount of money, I will give you fixed interest rate for 1 year, 6%, 10%, 20%, whatever it is, the interest will be paid to you. This is kind of a debt. This is also kind of a debt instrument, but the nature of debt is different. Now, so much about bond we are not going to learn. We will learn it during economy when we come across questions related to it. Now, another question, very similar question, 10 question. Go through the question, then we will have the discussion. What is the answer? What is the answer? IUCN. You are guessing, completely guessing. It's wrong answer. Answer is UNEP. Again, a very factual question. Nature risk profile. So UNEP as well as S&P Global have launched the new methodology called as nature risk profile. What does it contain? It is a new tool designed to analyze impacts and dependencies of companies on nature. How much the companies are eco-friendly, all these kind of things has been analyzed in this report. Davos World Economic Forum Summit, it has been released or discussed. It has based on Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. What is this? Remember, in COP 15 of CBD. It has been released in December 22 or December 2022. This protocol, this framework has been came into picture. And what does the framework is all about? We'll be having some data. It is all about the what all, like in Paris targets, we have come up with certain targets. What all are the objectives we need to achieve by 2015? We try to have a refined target similar to Paris climate deal. So these kind of objectives and 22 action oriented targets are there. Similarly, we have sustainable development goals. That is for focus here is sustainable development. This is focus here is biodiversity conservation. So focusing on biodiversity conservation, what are all the objectives to be achieved and what timeline should be taken into consideration, all this has been discussed here. Going ahead, answer the 11th question. Again a typical factual question. If you know it, you hit it, otherwise very difficult. What is the answer? Which of the following best describes the term kula in the context of Islamic law? Traditional Islamic cooking method, an Islamic divorce initiated by wife, type of Islamic architecture, an Islamic banking procedure. Why we are discussing this? Recently there has been a Madras High Court judgment. What the judgment is saying, women could only approach family courts to obtained Kula or diverse. The court held that Kula certificates issued by private bodies like Shariat Council are invalid according to the law. Kula is a form of divorce in Islamic law that allows Muslim woman to end her marriage unconditionally without needing her husband's consent. Sorry. So similar to triple talaq, in triple talaq, men can get her divorce without having the consent of the woman. Here the woman can initiate the divorce procedures, and without the consent of the man, the divorce can be issued. Certain state governments like Assam, Bihar, Odisha, West Bengal, these governments already have some kind of Kula registration laws in place. Now all these laws becomes invalidated. Answer the 11th question. What is the answer? One only. Okay, let's read the question. Consider the following statement. Agnilet engine is world's first 3D printed rocket engine. Agnilet is a semi-cryogenic engine that uses fuel combination of super chilled liquid hydrogen and room temperature liquid oxygen. Now why this statement is wrong? Now Agnilet, that is a factual statement. Agnilet itself is world's first 3D printed rocket engine. Very factual information. Now what is advantages of being 3D printing? Even if you are following current affairs, ISRO is coming up with small satellite launch vehicles. What is the objective of small satellite launch vehicles? We have two like trustable systems with ISRO, PSLV and GSLV platform. Now these are delivering results, these are doing everything great. But still we are going for SSLVs. Both these have high turnaround period. If some launch is planned, it takes too much of processes to build these systems. Then you once you build the system, then only you can proceed. So number of launches you can make within a year is limited with GSLV and PSLV. Now with encouragement of private sector into space, there are private demand for launches. Demand for launches from other countries are increasing. Now to cope up with this, we are coming up with small satellite launch vehicles. Now the rocket system's whole difficulty is in manufacturing process. Even though we have immense capabilities with MSMEs in rocket manufacturing and all of this, still there is high turnaround period and the design specifications are very complicated. Once 3D printing is being integrated into it, the whole complexity is boiled down to zero. If we can successfully implement this technology at commercial level. This is just a test level startup, IIT Madras based startup that is done this 3D printing of Agnilet engine. Now come to the second statement. Now ISRO has already achieved the cryogenic propulsion. Now cryogenic propulsion means what? Two things we need for propulsion. That is, one is propellant plus oxygen. Now in cryogenic propulsion, what will be? We have super chilled both, fuel as well as oxygen. Fuel will be hydrogen. If it is hydrogen, it will be in minus 253. If it is in oxygen, it will be around minus 183. So at these temperatures, it will be kept. Now from these temperatures, it will be pumped to very high pressures. Then temperature will be increased. Then they will be combined and all this. Both are super cooled at very low temperatures. That's why we call it as cryogenic engine. Now in this question, it is talking about semi-cryogenic engine. Semi-cryogenic engine means either of this will only be at at these extremely low temperatures, either propellant or the oxygen. Now two things are given: super chilled liquid hydrogen and room temperature liquid oxygen. Now again, this idea is matching with semi-cryogenic engine, but still it is a wrong statement because hydrogen is not being used, kerosene is being used as a fuel here. Instead of hydrogen, kerosene is being used as fuel in the test launch. Very factual mistake that is in the statement. So this is the rocket engine. So Agnikul Cosmos, that is the name of the startup who developed this 3D printed version of this cryogenic and semi-cryogenic engine. Semi-cryogenic engine idea you got, one either of the fuel or the propellant will be super cooled, super chilled. So it is having liquid kerosene at room temperature as propellant and super chilled liquid oxygen as what it is, oxidizer or oxygen. Other details you can read from here. So going ahead, read the 13th question, another very factual question in hand. B. So read the question once. Consider the following. Which of the following best describes Operation Dost? A military operation conducted by India in the region of Ladakh to secure borders. This is obviously the right answer. Humanitarian assistance mission initiated by India to provide aid to Turkey and Syria following a massive earthquake. It has, why this question is being picked up? One thing is happened recently. Another thing is there has been so much of political mileage, or you can see diplomatic mileage driven out of this, because Turkey is such a country that has political differences with India. Even if it is the matter of Kashmir, even if it is the matter of issues with Pakistan, even in India's dealing with Israel, all these issues Turkey has problems. So Turkey is non-friendly country with India, considering the diplomatic stance. Still, India was in the forefront to send this humanitarian assistance. So this has been prompted as one of the very good decisions taken by India. An international trading pact signed by India and Turkey and Syria, nowhere it is related to this. Secret intelligence operation conducted by India in the Middle East. So correct answer is B itself. So these are a list of some of the recent operations done by India, like rescue operations. Operation Devi Shakti in 2021 from Afghanistan, when Taliban takeover of Afghanistan happened. Operation Ganga when Ukraine war has brought down. Operation Kaveri to evacuate people from Sudan when the civil war has brought down in this country. Operation Ajay, the most recent one, it was related to rescuing people from these Israel-Palestine conflicted areas. Going ahead, so these are the same information. Yeah, answer the 14th question. Yeah, let's read the question once. With reference to phytorid technology, consider the following statement. What is phyto means? Something related to plant. Okay. This technology simulates natural processes occurring in wetlands to treat wastewater, absorb nutrients indirectly from wastewater. So it is some kind of water treatment processes, but it simulates natural processes. Somewhere it can go in line with phyto representation, can be right. This technology is capable of treating broad spectrum of wastewaters, including domestic and industrial effluent. Very tricky option question. Because in the above statement it is said that it is replicating natural processes. Now when it is replicating natural processes, what we expect is industrial effluents it may not be able to process. But as per what is the development so far, even industrial effluents also to a some extent can be treated by this technology. Both these statements are correct. Phytory technology, plants can operate independently of external sources. This is also correct. Independently means it takes energy from the sunlight. It takes energy from the nature. Like plants are being grown over some kind of strata system. You can see the image here. This is called the phytorid bed. So after phytorid bed means certain special kind of plants are grown over it. So these plants need nothing, only energy requirement is sunlight only. So once it is installed, it can work on its own. That's why it is called, it can work independent out of external energy sources. So all these statements are correct. Right answer is D. You can read the details, it will be provided in the workbook. So this is kind of a water desalination, not desalination, water treatment project. Only difference is instead of a pollutant osmotic system, we here have a plant-based system. Some kind of specialized plant will be grown over the phytorid bed. Phyto means plant, rid means remove, removing waste system it is associated with. Answer the 15th question. What is the answer? C or B? Question number 15. What you are saying, C or D? Where you are having confusion? Okay, very factual it is. Consider the following pairs: TOI 700E, exoplanet in Goldilocks zone. What is Goldilocks zone? The zone where life is possible. How life is possible? How? Like, if we take the sun and solar system, there is Mercury here. Now Mercury life is not possible because it is so much close to the sun. When it is close to the sun, there will be high amount of radiation it is observing, and whatever water is the key ingredient of life, at least for the life as far as we know. So this water, whatever is present in the Mercury, it will evaporate, it cannot sustain as water. Now if we take something like Neptune, what happened to Neptune? Here even if there is some water in some, there are studies on moons of Neptune is having some water and all. But even if there is water, it is too far away from the sun. When it is too far away from the sun, what will happen? Water can only exist as ice. Water cannot exist as liquid water. So there is a range in between these. That is where the Earth is lying. This range, if any planet is lying in between these ranges, their liquid water can exist. Now, if liquid water can exist, then there is a high possibility of having life. So, TOI 700E, that is correct statement it is. Now, we have two other statements given, that is conceptual type of statement. Pulsar rotating neutron star with very regular pulses of radiation. Correct statement. Nebula, what is nebula? It's before formation of star, cloud dust is what is called as nebula. Cloud of dust, again gas occupying space between stars and acting as nursery for new stars. Both statements are correct. So in this question, all three statements are correct. Correct answer is D. So these are the recent developments. NASA's transiting exoplanet survey satellites TESS. This has made the, what is exoplanet again? Any planet outside solar system is called as exoplanet. This has made the observation regarding this TOI 700E. So TOI is having so much of satellites like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H and all. E is something that is lying exactly within the Goldilocks zone, and it has so much similarities in size and other factors with regarding to Earth. So Goldilocks zone, other characteristic like 95% of similar size similarity with Earth, planetary system, other phenomena like characteristic details you can read from the workbooks. One of the interesting part is there is something like conjunction effect. What is conjunction effect? A planet parade is also considered as, what is planet parade? Planet parade phenomenon. NASA recently shared an image depicting rare occurrence known as planet parade. This is when all planets in the solar system are seen from Earth aligned in a linear fashion. Like you see this image, all these planets are arranged in a linear fashion. When these come together, that arrangement is called planet parade. It is using some interference during this alignment, these exoplanets are being discovered. So even one of the other advantages is when these, usually how much planets we can see with naked eyes? Till Jupiter only you can see with naked eyes. Saturn you cannot see with naked eyes. But when this is happening, like planet parade is happening due to the interference, you can even see this Saturn with naked eyes. This is only rarest occurrences we can see Saturn with naked eyes. So this is planet parade phenomenon. This is being used. What is the application of this phenomenon? To discover exoplanets lying in the other systems. Conjunction effect considered as type of conjunction. Two celestial bodies appear close to each other in the night sky. Despite actual distances between them, these planets are being in millions of kilometers away. Like these are aligned in a straight line. Now when you are looking from here, you are standing here. What you will see is B and H are very close. But in actual, they are very far apart. They are having so much of distance between them. But as an observer from this point, you will see that these two are very close. This, you can see deception. This deception is called conjunction effect. And this alignment phenomenon is called planet parade. It is used to discover exoplanets. These are a whole list of celestial systems starting from nebula. What is nebula? Basic idea is it exists before formation of the star. There will be dust of clouds, huge dust of clouds. Then that forms the background for formation of stars. Accumulation happens and all these processes happen. Protostar, that is initial stage of a star's life. A protostar is a collection of gas that collapsed down from a giant molecular cloud. Like gas giant in our solar system also, we have Jupiter as one of the big gas giant. Now Jupiter is not so big to collapse itself and form a star. If some gas giant is formed that is bigger than Jupiter, it will collapse itself and start the formation of this star. This initial stage is called protostar. Everything is after Big Bang, nebula, everything. We are studying the life cycle of a star. So all this is happening after Big Bang. Assumption is like all stars formed after Big Bang. Star main sequence, that is what we see in a normal phase like sun, where it will be having enough oxygen, fusion reaction continuously goes on and it will emit all these radiations. Exoplanet, that is planet not in the solar system, planet of some other star, that is called exoplanet. Binary star, in solar system there is only sun is there as star, all others are planets. In binary star system there will be two planets and they will be rotating in an elliptical path and there will be planets going around in them. So this kind of system is called binary star system. Red giant, now we are coming into death phase of this star. Depending on the size, the stars die in different ways. Red giant, a dying star in the last stages of stellar evolution. When its hydrogen is ending, then it enters into the red giant phase. These stars have exhausted the hydrogen in their core and begin expanding while their surfaces cool and redden. So it started expansion, so the surfaces get cooled and that's why we see it as red giant, because its size is getting enlarged. Now after reaching a point, depending on size, it can go as white dwarf. White dwarf remains of a stars that has exhausted its fuel. When white dwarfs are dense, hot and gradually cool over billions of years. These are related to small stars. They cannot expand beyond a limit. After a limit, their fuel exhausted, they get cooled and remain as a cold body. Now supernova, when supernova happens, this happens with much bigger stars. This happens when red giant phase is coming. Explosive death of a star. What is happening? It is not cooling peacefully. Explosion is happening. Explosive death of a star, resulting in extremely bright short-term object that emits vast amount of energy. That is called supernova. From this supernova, we have different forms like neutron star, pulsars. All these are coming. Highly magnetized rotating neutron star that emits beams of electromagnetic radiation out of its magnetic poles. This can be the end of state for star after a supernova. That there is also criteria like this. If size is this much, it will go to a pulsar. If size is not that much, it will go to some other forms. Black hole, if it is size is still bigger, then it can go into black hole. Black hole is, what is black hole? If a star dies, every star will not. If it is such a huge star, it dies, it can go into a black hole. What exactly is the idea of black hole? It is such a dense system that it forms such a huge point in the universe, having such high gravity, even light cannot escape out of it. It pulls even light into it. Even these different dimensions of black hole, this has been asked in last year, not 23, 22 paper. We have different spheres of black holes. A question, prelims question has been there. Quasar, extremely luminous active galactic nucleus with supermassive black hole at the center. That is systems related to black hole it is. What is dark matter? What exactly is this? What is the idea of? Like one major discovery why we speak about dark matter. It is not because it is dark. We are calling it dark matter because not it holds everything. It doesn't interact with electromagnetic spectrum. If it doesn't interact with electromagnetic spectrum, we have no possible way to see where it is located. Now then how we are assuming that some such matters exist? Because when we study how it interacts, then if it is not interacting with electromagnetic spectrum, how it interact with the cosmos? It interacts through gravitational field. It creates gravitational field. There is mass, there is gravitation, there is all these Einstein's bend it is creating. Everything it is creating. Only thing is it is not interacting with electromagnetic spectrum. So we are completely unaware of where exactly this is being placed. Now since when we study the gravitational field at different points in the space, we identify these gravities with all the celestial bodies. What inference we are making out of it is, with all the celestial bodies we have so far, it is not even close to provide this much of gravitational field. Then where this all other gravitational field is coming from? This should be coming from some other matter which we cannot see. Which we cannot see because it doesn't interact with electromagnetic spectrum. And this matter is what we call it as dark matter. Cosmic ray, high energy particles from space that strikes Earth's atmosphere. Comet, asteroid and meteoroid. What is the difference? Comet is a celestial body composed of ice and rock that orbits around the sun. Comets are like visit after 50 years, after 100 years. There will be elliptical path for it. So that is comet. What is asteroid? A small rocky body orbiting around the sun. Like planet is having a bigger structure. In between Mars and Jupiter, there are so many small objects rotating around the sun. These objects are called as asteroids. Similarly, what is meteoroid? When this, not asteroid will not come and fall. When these comets come and fall into Earth's atmosphere and it will strike down, it is called as meteoroids. So all this information you can note down. Answer the 16th question. Very direct also. Tough question. If you don't know, you don't know. Let's read the question. Albright's is often seen in news with reference to which of the following? Method for promotion of clonal propagation in horticultural plants. Coarse-grained igneous rock formed in oxygen-poor conditions. This is the right answer. Solid metallic ball dipped inside innermost core of Earth. Chemical used to facilitate gold mining activity. So B is the correct answer. What exactly is orbites? Obrites. There has been interesting discovery related to this. In Gujarat, what happened is in 2021, 21 or 22, what happened is some woman has identified some rock has fallen on her tile and it has destroyed her tile. Now what she will find it, what she will think? Somebody thrown it or it came from somewhere. ठीक है हो गया tile खराब हो गया उसका देख लेगा. But then it was found that then some people have came, this rock is having some special peculiarities. Then they studied this rock. Then they identified that this rock is not from Earth. This is having chemical composition that is formed under these conditions. Ingrained rocks that is formed in highly oxygen deficient conditions. And these conditions are said to be existing in Mercury or some other planets, not it is formed in Earth. So it should be something like a comet or meteoroid that came and fall into her space. Now then we study the chemical composition and look at what is the trajectory, what can be the possible pathways for this comet. There has been different suggestions done, like in 1836, this was the first obrite kind of rock that is being discovered. A rock fell in France. After that in 1852, in Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh, a similar rock has been identified. Now from after 1852, after 170 years, we are identifying another obrite fall in Gujarat in 2022. This is the rock that we are talking about. Nothing too much into detail of it, but at least the word you should be identifying with. Even this is a very complex statement. Even if you get something related to meteoroid, comet, then you should strike your mind, Answer the 17th question. Another economic question. What is the answer? Why we are discussing short selling? In the context of finance, the term short selling refers to a numeric value that measures fluctuations of a stock to changes in the overall stock market. No. A trading strategy in which the sequence of transactions are reversed to sell high first and buy low later is the correct answer. The process of simultaneous buying and selling of an asset from different platforms. No. Investment strategy of a portfolio manager to balance risk versus reward. No. So why we are discussing short selling? Because all this business of this Hindenburg, how it is operating, it is relating report against Adani group, or it has done against other business groups also. Now before releasing the report, what it does is it do so much of short selling operations in Adani stocks. Like it will sell too much of stock. And suppose the stock price was 100, it will sell 100 stock prices at this range. Now once the report is launched, what will happen? Obvious response, there will be sudden fall in the Adani stocks. So this 100 will fall into 50 rupees, suppose assume. This 50 they will here buy all these 100 stocks. Here they will do the buying, they are buying for 50 rupees and they have sold earlier for 100 rupees. So for every stock they are making a profit of 100 rupees. Now this business is so much of working because Hindenburg report is getting so much of importance. Now this report is getting so much of importance that they can reliably say that there will be a fall in price of this XYZ stock. Now so by chance this report didn't work, it go to 120. For every this short selling they have done, they will lose this money. So basic idea is in selling and buying of the stocks, what generally happens is first you buy the stocks, then when price rise, you sell the stock. Short selling, same process but in the reverse order. First you sell the price, sell the stock, then when the price falls at a later point of time, you buy the XYZ stock. Now this is how it is technically operating. There will be a short seller, then there will be market, there will be a broker. First time he is selling means he is borrowing stocks from the broker. He takes stocks from the broker at 100 rupees. He will not pay this 100 rupees, he will pay a small amount of fee. Suppose 10 shares are being brought, means 10 shares he has to repay to this guy. Now he sells this bond in the market. That means he will get 100 rupees for this every share. Now when market falls, what he does is he give back the share to the XYZ. 10 shares he has to report, but now the price is only 50. So that difference he will make. Too much technicality you don't need to understand. 3 people will be engaged in it. One is the short seller, then there will be market, from the market value fluctuation will be happening. Then there is a broker who will be facilitating the trade. So I'm balancing these 3 people, you will be doing the short selling operations. So is it legal or illegal? It is not illegal. Yeah, so it is legal. It is not illegal, it is legal, but there is stringent regulations associated with this. Who will put these regulations? All regulations to stock market go with SEBI only. Do the 18th question, very easy question. Tell me what is the answer? Again a question from basics, not evolved question. Which of the following best describes arm's length price? What is arm's length price? Suppose a company is there. Suppose Coca-Cola is there. It is operating in India. Now it is buying raw materials from some other company. This is a company that is subsidiary of Coca-Cola itself. Now at what price this should buy these raw materials? Since this is a subsidiary where the company need profits. Suppose here if you show the profit, you have 30% corporate tax in India. Here may be 5% tax. So it is better to show the profit here. So based on managing the price, the company, both these are managed by same company. There will be a bigger board who is managing both of these. So they manage the price of these raw materials or acquisitions such that they will show the profit in less tax countries. So this process is called, this price is called transfer pricing. Now what is the implication of this? Base erosion and profit shifting. Now once base erosion and profit shifting is happened, what will happen? Government will lose revenue, government will get very angry. Then government will come with some certain regulations. And this regulation is called arm's length principle. That means you are free to decide whatever is the price. It is your own company, but there should be market principles should be upheld. Market principles upheld means, suppose government will decide 10 rupees is the minimum. Below 10 rupees, you cannot acquire raw materials from the other market. Or if you are selling to other markets, there will be some standard market price. If you are doing it with a completely independent company, how much will be the price associated with that? In this range, there will be a price fixed for this. Below that, you cannot go. So this principle is called arm length principle. This pricing is called transfer pricing. The resulting implication will be base erosion and profit shifting. Once this is happening, this will result in again revenue loss for the government. So government come up with arm's length principle. Here correct answer is Price which is applied or proposed to be applied in a transaction between person other than associated with enterprises in uncontrolled conditions. Very technical definition. A is the correct answer. All the other options are not even related options. If you can at least remember what exactly is the overall idea of arm's length principle, you can relate with this. Selling treasury bill, not at all related to it. Mechanism for distribution of loan, cannot be related with this. Price of money market instruments, again not related to this. So this is what is exactly why we are discussing this again. Why we need to discuss this transfer pricing or these instruments and all? Because there has been raid in offices of BBC. What is the accusation against BBC? BBC is violating the arm's length principle. BBC is doing some transfer pricing operations. It is leading to showing profits in some other territories, and due to this, true revenue is not being shown in Indian jurisdiction. So that was the accusation against BBC. Go ahead, answer the 19th question. Again, a very factual question in hand. What is the answer? You don't know, you don't know. Which of the following best describes sprint initiative? Sprint means something related to running. Program launched by Government of Indian government to support development of track and field sports. If you relate with this, you will get this wrong. That is just like a trap option. Don't fall into it. A digital literacy initiative by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Not right. An initiative focused on promoting development and implementation of indigenous defense technologies. This is the right option. C is the right answer. An initiative by ISRO to promote innovation and research in space technology. Not the right answer. It is related to indigenous defense technologies, promotion of firms working in indigenous defense technologies. That was the objective of Sprint initiative. Mostly it is related with Navy. Naval ships, naval equipments, indigenization, bringing in indigenization, it is related. Sprint initiative is related to, that much only you have to remember from this section. It is related to indigenization of defense equipments. Going ahead, answer question number 20. What is the answer? Which, with reference to zero coupon, zero principal instrument. Consider the following statement. It is an instrument issued by a non-profit organization. What exactly is zero coupon, zero profit? What you will relate this with? What you will relate this with? Social stock exchange. What is social stock exchange? What is the purpose of stock exchange in general? An instrument for companies to raise capital from the public. Now, what social stock exchange does? In Union Budget 2019-20, government has proposed that they will come up with a social stock exchange. In 2023, government give final approval to whom? National Stock Exchange of India, NSE, to start operating social stock exchange. Now, what exactly is social stock exchange? What is the idea? Social activities, corporate social responsibility. No. Don't relate it with corporate social responsibility. It is indirectly related with that. But primary purpose is, what is stock exchange does? Tool for companies to raise capital from the market or the public. This for, not for companies, for non-profit based organizations. For their activities, they need to raise capital. They will use the social stock exchange option. Now, what is the benefit of this? Thing is, like as an investor, you can go to a registered organization and you can invest in this kind of activities. You can get some tax rebates, all of this. But what is the, from an economic perspective, what is the advantage? One major issue is regulation of NGOs. We are for years and years struggling with regulation of NGOs. Every year you will write the same data. Only 10% of NGOs are still submitting the financial report to the government. Baki are not submitting properly. So this is going on and going on. Now once you have a system like social stock exchange, there can be more transparency. There can be more stringent regulations possible in these kind of organizations. So from government perspective, this is one of the greatest advantage of having a social stock exchange. Now companies can invest, people can invest, everyone can invest, like social corporate responsibility that can be linked with that also. Now come to the important question, what it is, how it operates. Does it give any interest? The primary objective, it is not going to give any interest. It is zero coupon, zero principal instrument. So it is issued by a non-profit organization. That statement is correct. It is declared as securities for the purpose of Securities Contract Act. Very factual statement, but this is correct. Government has declared it as securities. Why it is declared as securities? So that all the regulations of SEBI, all the regulator will be applicable to this. There will no need for a separate regulator. This is not social stock exchange. It is not as a completely new system. Within the NSE, it is to be implemented. So we don't need another regulator or another legal obligation related to it. Simply declaring it as security means whatever regulation applicable to securities will be applicable to here also. Devoid of any interest, correct, or principal repayment obligation upon maturity. There is no stringent provision to pay all this. Now where you connect this with? Similar definition you have seen related to debt bonds. Where you have seen debt bonds? When there was issue with Yes Bank. What happened with Yes Bank? There was some financial crisis happening. Due to this, the shares has fallen, everything was going mismatch. At that time, this Yes Bank came up with debt bonds. What is debt bonds? We discussed about bonds. What is bond? I will give you paper, you give me money. Come after 1 year, you can take back the money. Now in debt bond, there is no obligation. It will go for indefinitely. At least for theoretically, it will go for indefinitely. And there is no obligation to pay back also. I can even reduce the bond amount. If a 100 rupees bond, I can reduce it to 90 rupees, 80 rupees, depending on the market condition. So many flexibilities are provided with the issuing authority. So a similar instrument is here also. You can see a similar definition for SSC or what it is, social stock exchange. All these definition, news, you can read it. It is declared as securities by Finance Ministry. So all this regulation will go into debt bonds, idea of debt bonds. Go ahead. What is social stock exchange? This idea is being, NSE is the issuing authority. No special authority is there for this. Union Budget 2019-20, it has been first proposed. Now there are some criteria for any organization to being listed in social stock exchange. What are these criteria? 67% of the enterprise average revenue and preceding 3 years should be derived from delivering approved activities in the target population. Some organization is working in tribal areas, 67% of its revenue should come from that target population. Similarly, 67% of expenditure to go to that target population. Similarly, target has been 67% of total consumer base or beneficiaries should be from that target population. So all these are 67%, only these keep in mind. 67% revenue, 67% expenditure, 67% best beneficiaries or consumers should be related to certain established or defined target population. This is not met, then this company cannot launch in the social stock exchange. Answer the 21st question. Again, very factual question. Don't be surprised by factual questions. Actual prelims is like this only. What is the answer? Butterflies, correct answer. How you identified? Guessing. Noble's Helen is recorded from 3 locations in Namdapha National Park of Arunachal Pradesh. What I want to do is, what are the other national parks of Arunachal Pradesh? Make a list and write in your workbook. It belongs to dragonflies, butterflies, honeybees, and wasps. It is a species of butterflies. These are the beautiful butterflies, and it is endemic or mainly present in the Southeast Asia, including in Northeast India. So it is spotted in Arunachal Pradesh, Namdapha National Park. Some crucial, these are indicators of biodiversity. If it is biodiversity is losing, then this will be extinct. All this you can read from here. These are the beautiful butterflies. Name is Noble's Helen. Keep name in by heart. Rest you just recollect during the examination. Going ahead, answer the 22nd question. Again, kind of another factual question. What is the answer? All 3. So consider the following statements regarding Bortakera plants. It is an evergreen tree. Why we are discussing this plant? Because it is from northeast. Again, there has been discovery that this plant can have medicinal properties. For certain heart disease, this is very good treatment initiative. This has been discovered in the recent past. That's why we are discussing this. It is a evergreen tree. The tree is endemic to Myanmar and northeastern parts of India. Correct statement. It has culinary as well as medicinal purposes. Medicinal purposes has been excavated recently. That's why it is in news. All 3 statements are correct. This is the plant Bortakera. These are all the factual information. You can read it from your material. Okay, this scientific name, at least go through it. Very complicated name, Garcinia pedunculata. At least sometimes we have seen this name also put into the answer sheet. So Bortakera is more relatable. This becomes a total complex question. At least remember this image, how the plant looks. Why it is in use? Because medicinal purposes it has been discovered recently. Answer the 23rd question. Though how you are answering it? Mostly the construction is done by Border Road Organization. Under which ministry it is? Under Defense Ministry it is coming. Second option is wrong. It is related to Shinkula Tunnel. Why we are discussing this? Because government has given in approval to construction of this tunnel. Which two states these are connecting? They are connecting Himachal Pradesh to Ladakh. Ladakh is a union territory. Some of you might have done this Leh Ladakh famous. Not Leh. Which two places? Manali Ladakh trip or Manali Leh trip. Rohtang, Pras, all these trips. What is problem in that trip? What is major setback? Not landslides. Landslides still can happen here also. It is seasonal. You cannot go throughout the year. Only on that particular time when the ice is melt or the road is clear, you can visit these places. On the rest of the time, road remain closed. So when this construction is done, then you have all year, all weather road facility available between these two places. So it is connecting, this statement is correct, Zanskar Valley and Lahore Valley. Second statement is incorrect. BRO is the construction agency here. So statement 1 only A is the correct answer. So this is the map. These are the areas it is connecting to. Map from the Stan Times. This is the map of Ladakh and the different areas it is being connected to. These are the details. Himachal Pradesh and Ladakh you keep in mind. Shrinkula Tunnel. Second last question of the day, 24th question. Go through the question. What is the answer? Both statements are correct. Exactly right. Consider the following statement regarding Comprehensive Migration and Mobility Partnership Agreement, MMPA. Why we are discussing this? India has been recently in line with signing MMPA with Austria. We have already signed MMPA with UK, France, Australia, and so many other countries. What it deals with? What is specialty of all these countries? So many students are visiting. In the recent past, the trend is highly increasing. So many students are visiting. To facilitate not just in one direction, you need both direction. The free movement of students, researchers, academicians. That is the purpose of this Comprehensive Migration and Mobility Partnership Agreement. Both these provisions are correct. It is a framework between India and other countries to promote and facilitate orderly, safe, regular and responsible migration and mobility. It covers issues of labor migration, student mobility, professional mobility and tourism. All these factors are coming into picture. So these are different details related to this. 25th last question of the day. Answer this. Then we will be probably winding up the session. What is the answer? B. Let's read about the survey. What survey it is speaking about? Mission Antyodaya Survey, MAS 2022. What is Antyodaya related to? Last point delivery, poorest of poor. All these ideas you can come into picture. So it should be related to rural areas. Ministry of Rural Development will be most probably associated with this survey. What is the first statement? It is launched by Ministry of Urban Development. Very wrong statement it is. The primary objective of MA is to impact and outcomes of different development programs implemented in India's rural regions. Very much correct statement it is. MA is synchronized with People's Plan Campaign, PPC. What exactly is PPC? social order, it is something started in 2017-18. What is the objective is, there is a provision for Gram Panchayat development plan. So every Gram Panchayat has come up with some kind of plans. Now who makes this plan? There was no inclusive participatory approach for this plan. Now what government started in 2017-18, they come up with an innovative process, a campaign mode approach. They try to give different approaches to reach out to the people, to Gram Sabhas, to different organs of Gram Panchayat, and make them do certain activities, do some surveys, do some awareness campaigns, do collect some questionnaire issues of the people. All these are being accumulated, and objective is, it is starting in October. This will run to March. In March, every panchayat has to come up with this Gram Sabha, Gram Panchayat development plan. So all this, whatever learning come out of this, should result into this plan. So some kind of inclusive participatory approach in developing Gram Panchayat development plan has been implemented by the government. So first it was started as a one-time exercise in 2017-18. But considering this high impact of this, it has been doing every year by the government. So now it is being running annually, starting from October till March it will run. 6 months campaign, and after result of all this campaign will be used in Gram Sabha development plan. So this is in MAS, is a survey done by Ministry of Rural Development. Then it is in line with People's Plan campaign. Primary objective is outcome of different development project schemes, evaluate its implementation in rural areas, that is objective. So two statements are correct, B is the correct answer. So this is about the scheme, it is done by Ministry of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj annually since 2018. People's we come back. Yeah. Last topic we were discussing, right? Almost we have finished the class. Yeah. Again, last thing about People's Plan campaign. Let's wait for a few seconds. Yeah, it is working, I guess. Yeah, People's Plan campaign, what it is, we already discussed. Ministry of Panchayati Raj, that is taking the initiative. Objective is participatory Gram Panchayat development plans, to build this in a campaign mode. It is being done, started in this year. After that it is being run annually, begins in October, run for 6 months till March. Both are same ministries. Ministry of Rural Development, no, in that both ministries are part of it. This is done by Ministry of Panchayat specifically. So that's end of today's class. So we have discussed what we have done. What is key learnings from today? If we consolidate it, first you have 25 questions. It may looks difficult because after a long span of period you are getting exposed to prelims question. It is only a starting point, only 25 questions are being there. Don't judge yourself, good mark, bad mark, there is nothing is our objective. At least these 25 topics you learn in an integrated manner. For this we have discussed so much of dimensions in the class. You have noted down in the workbook. Now spend at least minimum 2 hours on these workbooks. Take every topic, think what more you need to learn, add a few dimensions into these workbooks, finish it off. 2 hours in this before next Saturday. And next Saturday 2 hours for classes, then 0.5 hour for test and all. Total you will have less than 5 hours every week. This much of the time you allot for prelims. So by the end of, by January, when you completely shift to prelims, we might have already a very good base to start with. Very good content already we will be mastered. Then you just need to revise these current affairs. 15 workbooks, then in January we will start the yearly compilations. That will be very exhaustive. It will contain so much other topics which we are not covering here. And number of topics also we gradually increase over the time. Now for the first 2 months we will be going with 25 topics. In December we will start to pick up these. So the objective 5 hours you spend for prelims in 1 week I am speaking about. Rest of the time you allot for your routine preparation. Do mains preparation, do optional preparation. Try to consolidate these subjects by December 2026. So 25 topics you have learned today. Build your clarity on this. Then next Saturday come and attend the class. We will speak on next 25 topics. So on that note we will wrap up today's class. I hope you enjoyed the class. Thank you so much and all the best.